Lily Madwhip must die. Chapter 16. All hell breaks loose. I'm trying to remember the last time I ate. Was it breakfast? Maybe it was lunch. The cafeteria had these fish cake things that were round like hockey pucks and mostly breading. Stick them between a shriveled hamburger bun and you've got yourself a sandwich. I've had them before. I always get a packet of mustard to add flavor to it because otherwise it's like eating a soggy piece of cardboard. But did I eat the mustard fish cake sandwich? I didn't really remember. Not until now. Yes, I ate the mustard fish cake sandwich. I even added extra mustard because I was annoyed. It's all coming back to me. From the pit of my stomach, up my esophagus, and out past my tongue and teeth. Hyurrrrk. I barf mustard yellow onto the grass in front of everybody. You would too if you just saw a man get his head ripped off, okay? I'm not going to stop seeing that, not even when I'm old and gray, if I live that long. It's burned into my brain, like that scene in the movie Poltergeist where the camera guy hallucinates peeling his face off after eating maggoty meat. Why'd my dad let me watch that movie anyway? I'm not looking anymore. I can't look. I just shut my eyes and taste the lingering mustard flavor on my tongue. Even with my eyes closed, though, I can see it all in my head using just my ears. That heavy flump sound, like someone dropping a bag of laundry, is Mr. Jin's body collapsing into a pile. The softer thump to my right is his head landing in the grass between me and Mr. Dutch after Samael tosses it aside. That loud crack sound? The gun. Something wet spatters across my face. That's blood, obviously. I'm not sure whose. I flinch when I feel it. Samael hisses. Did they hit him? Is he bleeding? Several more cracks. A whistling sound. I put my hands over my ears and crouch into a ball. Be as small as I can. Be a piddle bug. Curl in on myself. Samael! Duma shouts. Contain yourself! Miss Gwendolyn screams. Felix yells over the noise. Wendy, run! I peek through my lids for a second. Madame Wendy is wreathed in smoke. She's still got the gun pointed at Samael. Her face looks like she just swallowed one of those red-hot cinnamon jawbreakers. I don't get the love people have for those things. They just burn. Why torture yourself by putting a thing that burns on your tongue? Last year in science, our teacher brought a jug of cinnamon extract to school for some lab thing, and one of the boys in the front row got his hands on it and took a swig. He had to go to the nurse. That stuff's poison or something. Someone said it probably ate through his stomach lining and was burning a hole straight to the butt of his pants. Samiel is as tall as an adult. His body is all twisted and stretchy like one of those Stretch Armstrong toys. I imagine this is what that kid Mike TV from the Willy Wonka movie looked like after they stretched him 'cause he got shrunk. That movie was a nightmare. Duma is grabbing Samael's wrists and trying to twist them behind his back. It's not really working though because Samael's arms just stretch further, and you can hear popping as his elbows and wrists come undone. Their struggle is just a few feet away from me. They step and sway like two dancers, but there's a headless corpse at their feet, and Duma trips over it, sending him tumbling to the ground. He doesn't let go of Samael though, or at least his arms. Samael's arms pop off at the shoulders with a sickening sound. If I hadn't just emptied my stomach down here in the grass, which I'm squatting way too close to, I'd probably lose my lunch at the sight and sound. Instead, I just have one of those unpleasant heaves that wrenches the muscles in your chest and make it hurt. I duck waddle backward to get away from my own sick and the insanity in front of me. I can't take this. This is too much. The songs I try to sing in my head to drown out the sounds aren't working. Another gunshot. Screams of enjoyment on the other side of the tents. People having a great time at night with their families, oblivious to the death going on right here. Lily, Peshyar says something. He's trying to settle me down, but it's not working either. I can't hear his words. All I can hear is some sort of squelching sound. Duma shouting stuff. I think it's Latin or some other dead language. Mr. Dutch is gibbering too. I hear him say the word, Mommy. Stop it! Stop it all! All of it! I scream just to drown out the sounds. I don't care if anybody hears me. I want to not hear them. I want them to go away. Felix, Samael, Dumas, Miss Gwendy, even poor Mr. Dutch. I want them all to just go away. I have the power to do it too. I can make them go away. Why am I cowering here? Why am I duck waddling around on the grass, screaming with my hands over my ears? I'm not helpless. I'm not. I just need to. I open my eyes. I kind of wish I hadn't. Samael looks nothing like me anymore. He's twisted into an adult with splinters of bone coming out of his shoulder sockets, like they're trying to reform a pair of arms. Duma is casually beating him about the head and shoulders with his own detached limbs. It's almost comical, except for how disgusting and awful it is. He's yelling more nonsensical stuff in a loud, booming voice that seems to echo off of nothing. Madame Wendy has fallen to the ground, holding the pistol. Her finger seems to be trying to pull the trigger again and again, but it's just clicking. No more gunshots, no more bullets. Felix is standing still, frozen in place. Maybe he thinks if he doesn't move, Samael won't see him. Maybe his brain just fried trying to understand what he's seeing, what hellish nightmare just popped into reality in front of him. The girl he hated more than anyone else living, but not dead, sorry Meredith, suddenly turned into some sort of silly, putty monster that ripped the head off his friend and is coming for him next. I don't bother looking at Mr. Dutch. Instead, I focus. I can hear Pashkar shouting at me in the back of my mind, but I drown him out with my song. It's not one I heard on the radio. It's not one Miss Pembroke made us sing in music class. It's one I make up on the spot. It's a song about a girl who's tired of being controlled by everyone around her. She's exhausted from all the awful things she's seen and all the people she loves that she's lost. But she has this special gift. She can rip holes between our world and the dream world. She can make delicate, small cuts that rip the butt of a boy's pants. But she can also make giant, stinking holes. So I scream at the top of my lungs and I throw my hands out and I make a giant, stinking hole in the veil. I don't know what it looks like to everybody else, but to me it's like the air and the ground and the people all in front of me are a page in a book. A really well illustrated page. Maybe one of those Bill Peet books. He was always good at drawing stuff. But someone punched a big, fat black hole in the page. I know what's in that hole. Void. The emptiness of untouched veil. It's not space where you would suffocate because there's no air. It's more like flying or falling forever, until you either make your own reality or just go completely insane. I'm guessing about that second part. I don't really know what happens if you don't make your own reality, because I only ever did. And maybe I could do that because of who I am. It's all still a big mystery to me. What is this? Felix yells. He's staring into the blackness of the tear. I had kinda meant to just catch everybody in it, but for all my effort, I really only made a rip the size of a kiddie pool. You know, one of those heavy plastic pools your dad drags out of the garage, muttering to himself about why you can't just play in the sprinkler, and then spends 2 hours filling it from a hose, and when he's finally done, the thing is filled with floating dead bugs and other stuff you don't want to touch. I don't know why adults invent stuff like that. Suddenly, Samael is behind Felix. He rises up from out of nowhere like a marionette. His arm stumps are a pair of rubbery-looking bones with polished, knobby ends. Even though he has no hands on them, he still manages to wrap his bone arms around the shocked and confused Felix. There's a big grin on his face that is not my face. It's his face. He's him, the him who we met in that prison cell thing in hell. Fanged teeth, reddish eyes, like a vampire if vampires had knobby bone arms instead of capes. Thanks for the assistance, Samael yells to me from across the tear. I didn't do that for you, I yell back. Felix shouts something I can't make out. He reaches down and tries to swat away the bone arms that are rubbery bending around his torso. Madame Wendy is fumbling with something in one of her many pockets and rattling the gun in her hand. I think she might have more bullets and is reloading it. Where did Duma go? I see half an arm on the ground right by the edge of the tear. It's one of Samael's that popped out of his shoulder sockets. I think maybe I opened the tear right on top of Duma. Oops. Samael grins at me. He hefts up Felix like a sack of flour or rice or some other sort of sack. Felix screams and claws at his face and head. Samael's face and head. Not his own face and head. He's not that crazy. Yet. I cover my eyes with my hands but peek through my fingers. I just saw Samael twist Mr. Jin's head off like a screw, so I'm already envisioning him ripping Felix in half. He doesn't, though. He just casually chucks Felix right into the hole I made and starts laughing maniacally. It's a surreal thing to witness, because even though I'm standing on the other side of the hole that I assume has width and length and height, it looks 2D, like a Roadrunner cartoon, and I can see Felix go falling into the blackness, like I'm looking down into a well and watching Felix fall to the bottom of it. Madame Wendy screams, "Felix!" and does some wrist flick thing with the gun in her hand. She points it at me. I throw a hand up between us. Hey, whoa. I'm the good guy. Am I? I mean, I kinda just got Felix killed. Felix and Mr. Jin. Sure, they seemed pretty awful, but would they have been quite as bad if they hadn't been having to deal with me and my problems that I bring with me everywhere I go? To Madame Wendy? I'm sure I'm a real bad person. Yeah, fair enough. Go ahead and shoot me. Without thinking, I flick my wrist at her, just a sort of whatever kind of motion, giving her the go-ahead to empty a few rounds into my meatball and put us both out of our misery. But of course, things can never be that simple. Instead, I accidentally make another micro tear in the veil right where her wrist and her hand meet, and the whole thing just falls right off, followed by a scream of panic and pain from her, and a big ol' spurt of blood from her severed wrist. I clench my fists up to avoid making the same mistake twice and hurry over to her. Oh, geez! I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm running on some sort of autopilot. I pick up the hand and hold it with the fingers pointing down so the blood stays inside. Madame Wendy is not having any of it. She slaps me away with her still attached hand. It stings, but probably not as much as getting your hand cut off, so I don't cry. I just fall backward and drop the hand on the ground. She scrambles, reaching for it. No, wait. She's reaching for the gun again. We're back to the shooting me scenario. Oh, just give me the gun, I tell her, unable to hide my exhaustion. I'll do it myself. She picks it up, hugging her stump to her chest and getting blood all over her pretty ruffles. She points the gun right in my face. Devil! She yells. Samael steps between us, grinning at her with that same fangy smile that haunts my dreams. At your service, he hisses at the poor woman. The sound of the gun fills my ears with ringing. At the same instant, the back of Samael's head sort of pops open like a pretty flower. Red splatters my vision. And lastly, I feel a sharp sensation in the side of my head that jerks me backward, like from my eyebrow to my ear just getting yanked by an angry giant's hand. Did I just get shot? Then the bullet is in my brain now, I bet. Except, I'm still thinking. Well, maybe that's how being dead works, after all. Wasn't Roger stuck in his dead body, thinking and waiting? I'm just gonna let gravity catch me and fall down here on the grass. Get a feeling for being dead now. The grass is wet. I can still feel it. It tickles the back of my neck. I don't think you feel things when you're dead. Okay, Lil. You're not dead, but there's blood in your eyes and something cut you across the forehead, I guess. Why doesn't it burn inside my head, though? That Wendy lady fires again and again. I can't see if she's even accomplishing anything with Samael. Seems to me he just keeps going, like that Energizer bunny in the battery commercials. Samael. He keeps going and going and going and going and going. Get off of her. Oh hey, that's Duma's voice. Duma's back. How convenient. Another gunshot, followed by clicking again. Madame Wendy needs to get a gun that holds more bullets. Oh, stop it, you ponce! I hear Duma say in a very agitated manner. I peek an eye open, the one that's not got blood in it, and stings something fierce. Duma's given up his skin suit and is standing there, on the edge of the tear in his robes and his Skeletor face, exposed. He's the spitting image of that Grim Reaper guy. They probably modeled him after Duma or something. Duma kneels down next to the phony baloney fortune teller and pries the gun out of her fingers. Give me that before you hurt somebody who can actually suffer, he says, like a father talking to his daughter, who he caught playing with, making milkshakes in the blender, but nobody told her you needed to put the top on it. Now give me your hand. No, the other one. That one beside you on the ground. I'll reattach it. I wonder if he can do that with Mr. Jin in his head. What? What are you? Madame Wendy whispers at him. She looks pale and tired. Who knows how many pints of blood she's lost by now. He puts a bony finger to his teeth. Shh, he says to her. Be quiet. She opens her mouth to respond, but nothing comes out. She realizes this, and her eyes start darting around in a panic. Duma holds her by the wrist and then takes the severed hand and totally gets between me and everything he's doing, so I don't even get to see. Oh, come on. Since I can't watch his magic, I look around instead. My neck feels stiff. Where'd Samael go? Oh, there he is, laying next to me with a big, nasty hole in the middle of his face. I can see inside his head. It's not the graphic, gross, brain-filled situation you'd expect. There are things inside his head, dark things that seem to be moving, squirming like a bowl of worms. Unless it's Halloween, then it's just spaghetti. That grown-ups tell you is a bowl of worms. They seem to be entangling with each other in the middle of the big, gaping hole. Someone else steps out of the tear as if it was just a doorway into a really dark room. I recognize Baradiel. He surveys the scene and makes a big O with his mouth. He glances briefly at Mr. Dutch, who seems to be looking past everything with his mouth hanging open slightly. Then Baradiel looks in the direction of me and Samael and Dumas and Madame Wendy, raises his eyebrows, goes, "Ah," and nods, then comes over. "Baradiel," I sputter. There's something hot and salty in my mouth. I think she shot me in the head, but I'm not dead. He just lifts a finger silently in the same manner as, "Give me 1 second," and starts picking up Samael instead. I can't hide feeling a bit puzzled by this. I frown at him. My eye tingles more from this, so I grit my teeth and wait for it to pass. "Sam's regenerating," Baratiel whispers to me. I've got to get him across the threshold before he can resist. I'll be right back for you. Oh, sure, Samael can regenerate. Damn angels and all their powers, and all they give us is the power to burn stuff and see the future in junk. What a mess, Duma mutters. He looks over at me. Look at the size of this rip. This is almost as bad as Guatemala. There's going to be hell to pay for this. He turns to Baradiel. Quickly now, and then fetch the stitcher. We need to close this immediately. Baradiel nods. Right. He gives me a shrug. Duma will check on you. What happened in Guatemala? That's not cool. Referencing things I don't know anything about. Pashkar is silent on the matter, so apparently nobody's going to fill me in. Heck, I don't even know where Guatemala is. I'm going to have to remember to look it up in the encyclopedia. I wonder if that's where Abaddon and I went and got the cow pitcher that's now never going to be returned to its owner. I reach up and touch my forehead. There must be a hole or something in my skull. I don't feel anything, though. Of course, I haven't felt any sort of pain this whole time, even the stabby wound in my guts from the shard of cow pitcher. Is that still there? I stick a finger in it. Yep, still there. And still gross. After a minute, Duma twists his arms hard, like a panicked trucker, down a windy road, and I hear a loud crack from the other side of him, followed by a muffled groan of pain. Yes, yes, go ahead and cry, he says to Madame. Wendy, you can speak now. But what's going to happen to me? She asks in a frightened, childlike voice. Dumas takes her head in his hands and twists and turns her every which way. Well, you've lost about 20 some odd years off your expected lifespan, and that hand is going to ache like a son of a bitch when the weather is bad. But, all in all, I'd say you'll be fine. He straightens up and brushes off his dirty old robe. Of course, there's a place in the pit specifically for false prophets. The false prophet Wendy stares at him with a slowly drifting jaw, and then swallows the mother of all throat lumps. Go to sleep, I hear Dumas say, followed by a soft thump of something or someone falling down on the wet grass nearby. He appears over me, looking down, studying me with his empty Skeletor eyes. What have you got on your forehead? He asks. I think it's a gunshot wound, I tell him. No, it's one of those runes you weren't supposed to play with. Gibo, Jara. I'm afraid I'm not fluent in their precise qualities. He kneels down and sticks his bony thumb in my face. I can feel him trying to rub the symbols off. If I remove these, your head will explode. That's all right, I sigh, looking up at the pretty stars. I want to go be a star and just shine down on everyone. I've had enough anyway. Let's get on with the exploding heads. I was joking. I have no idea what will happen. Probably my head will melt like the laundry room door. That's fine too. I can't feel anything anyway, so I doubt it'll hurt. I take my finger and stick it back in my cow pitcher wound, dab it around some, get it nice and bloody. I stop and really think for a moment where everything in my life went wrong that I'm lying on the grass behind the tents, at a carnias sticking my finger in a stab wound to use my own blood to wipe a magic rune off my forehead. Someone steps through the veil tear. I figure it must be Duma's crew of Stitchers, or whatever he called them. But it's not. Duma glances up from hovering over me and is visibly shocked, which is saying a lot since his face is a freaking skull and incapable of emotion. Abaddon, he says, standing up. What are you doing here? You spoke with Zadkiel? It is indeed Abaddon. He hasn't even bothered to hide his extra pair of arms either. He's got all four out on display in some sort of white shirt with not only no sleeves, but no sides to it either. Like, why wear anything at all at that point? The front and back flap just look silly to me. He also doesn't have any pants on, but before you read too much into that, his weird shirt thing is more like a long dress, I guess. He's got a gold-looking piece of rope tied around his waist with tassels on it. I've come to help, Abaddon says in his matter-of-fact tone. Help whom, brother? Pashar speaks up. Abaddon looks at my doll and says nothing. Then I notice that his lower left hand is clutching something against his side. It kind of looks like he broke a stalactite off the ceiling of a cave and is wielding it like a small baseball bat. You ever been sitting at your dinner table and everybody's talking about their day, and then your mom mentions that she ran into her old friend Todd, and your dad says, "Is that the Todd you used to date in college?" And she says, "Yes." He runs a successful travel agency now. And then the room gets really quiet, and there's like this feeling in the air that maybe there's a hidden conversation being had and you aren't privy to it. Well, that's what it feels like now. Duma, Abaddon, Pashar are all quiet. The fair is still going on somewhere, and people are laughing and screaming happy sounds, but me and Mr. Dutch and Madame Wendy are sitting there wondering if Mom and Dad are having a silent argument in their heads. Paskar finally repeats himself in a slower manner. Help. Whom? Why are the hairs on my arm bristling up? Stamus contra malum, replies Abaddon. He lifts the small stalactite bat and raises it across his forehead, then back down and across his chest. We stand against evil. You helped Samael escape. Pashkar doesn't sound the least bit surprised. I'm surprised to hear him say it. Abaddon? Help Samael. But he was helping me with the blood and everything. Paskar is still talking. I asked myself how Samael managed to do his vanishing act. We saw him in his cell before Lily woke, and he was in her mind. But that wasn't Samael, was it? It was Onokale, child of Hecate. Oh no, I whisper. Abaddon clenches his jaw for a second. I know this is hard to understand, brother, but Samael is right. What does that mean? Dumas steps back from the tear and Abaddon. I see his arm reach behind his back, and with a snickety snick, his big curved blade thingy unfolds in his hand. The great evil is coming. Abaddon points with his upper right arm toward the sky. You know this. It is why we do what we do. And we have spent eons preparing for it, building this wall against it, training these children to stand against it as the first row of pawns on the board. But look at them. Look at this. He gestures with another arm toward my big old tear in the veil. We are fighting amongst ourselves when we should be working together. Your own generals are ripping down the very wall they are meant to defend. We don't stand a chance as long as we continue to... Who is it talking to? I look over at Madame Wendy. She's gripping her reattached hand with her other hand and trembling so bad that her jangles are jangling. She's looking at me, but also keeps side-eyeing Abaddon. He's talking to my doll, I whisper to her, so as to not interrupt Abaddon's speech he's giving. From the sound of it, he's been holding this all in a long time and just needs to vent. Far be it from me to interrupt Lord of the Bottomless Pit when he's monologuing, is to stand together. Abaddon is still going. I missed some of what he said thanks to that false prophet lady. Dang it. The potestates need to be alarmed. Look at the signs. The first two seals are broken. Come and see. Dumas puts a hand on Abaddon's shoulder. It looks like a gentle gesture, but Abaddon reels from it and swings his stalactite bat thing at Duma's head. Duma takes the hit with stride, staggering back a moment, and then casually shaking it off like someone who just got splashed in the face with cold spaghetti water. Abaddon, let us talk about this on the other side. This is neither the time nor place to have these discussions. I'm already going to have to. He starts making a sweeping gesture at us normal folk lying in the grass. He pauses for a moment to specifically point out Mr. Jin's headless body. It's too late. Those words come from the tear. One white leg steps out of the blackness, then another, along with the complete, regenerated body of Samael. He's him now. He's not me, or some bizarre, twisted nightmare version of In Between Us Both. He slicks back his hair with two hands drenched in red blood. It's spattered across his suit that he somehow got. Maybe it's a part of him? I don't know. Angels can do anything, it seems like. I come now to you as the lion, he says with a mouthful of pointy teeth, to lead mankind into a new age, to prepare them for the war that is to come. Where is Baratiel? Duma yells, in a booming voice. Some of the laughing and hooting from fairgoers around the way on the main thoroughfare go quiet. That's how loud he is. Samael sticks one of his bloody fingers in his mouth and sucks on it for a second, like a baby with its pacifier. He spots me watching and winks. My tummy does a tumble and considers finding more past meal to send up my throat. He'll be fine, Samael finally says with red teeth. I didn't have to completely incapacitate him like I did poor Nathaniel. Dear, sweet little Bar can't do much more than challenge me to a slap fight. That's what he did anyway. And you could say I won. Duma finally reveals the giant blade he was keeping behind his back. He opens his jawbone and roars. I'm talking a big darn roar. He drowns out everything else. Even Abaddon shrinks away when he hears it, bringing his stalactite up in front of him like it's a shield. Even Samael cringes slightly, looking almost surprised. I hope he is. I want him to be shocked and confused and scared, because that's what I am, and I hate him. Brothers, shouts Peshar, barely audible over Dumas' mountainous roar. Abaddon flicks two of his wrists, causing the ground on either side of Duma to erupt into a dozen sharp, pointy, earthy spikes, impaling him from every direction. Before he can take a single step, it doesn't stop Duma's roar. It just stops him from following through on attacking them both with his weapon. He swings wildly, missing Abaddon by inches, and then stumbles, sliding down on the spikes so that the stick up around him like a thorny crown. Samael takes a deep breath. How the mighty have fallen. Poor brother, you should have listened to me. Now you can stay here, among the children. I just wanted you to know that you could have had a place by my side. Like dear Abaddon. He smiles at Abaddon. Abaddon doesn't smile back. He looks frustrated. The veil is now officially off limits, as it always should have been. Don't try to enter it. I will destroy you. I must make it stronger. I must protect the throne. This has always been my job, my one singular purpose. Do not try to keep me from my purpose again. Dumbass. And with that, Abaddon and Samael trudge slowly backward into the darkness of the tear. I can't see them, but I'd wager they're standing on the other side of it, looking out at the lot of us and giggling to themselves. They're just like the jerk girls from school. They think they're better than everybody. Bit by bit, the rip starts shrinking at the edges. Within 5 minutes, it's gone, leaving just a normal empty bit of field behind some carnival tents, with Mr. Dutch looking completely out of his mind, Madame Wendy shaking and sobbing. Duma sagged quietly into a ball on the spikes, me sitting with wet pants and covered and blood, and of course, one headless body.